No, you're live. So we are live now, guys. Welcome. Hey, this is not like the Dusty Wheel where we have these high production values and I've got my tailor in the back running things. We just pop on and that's where we go. Like if I wanted to do any type of like waiting clip for everybody who's joining, I mean, this is what I would do right here.
That's the only reason why you invited me on, isn't it?
Yeah, that's right. Now you can go. I'm just playing. Hey guys, welcome to the live stream. If in case you're curious, I'm joined here by two good buddies of mine, Lauren from Unraveling the Pattern and the innkeeper himself from the Dusty Wheel.
Thank you for having me.
Welcome.
Thank you.
Thanks for joining.
Great to be here.
Absolutely. Great to be here. Yeah, it feels like we're.
Can you just show that clip like 4 more times, please?
Yeah, absolutely.
Just get it out. Just get it out. Just get it out.
Full hour of that.
Well, I was planning on anytime you got going, starting talking something about something pretty serious, just popping it on in the middle. Because
oh, I see.
That's how I was planning on doing it. But now that you've ruined it, I probably won't use it. Okay.
Yeah, right.
But no, real quick before we get going, guys, like introduce. I mean, for anybody who may or I think everybody knows who you both are. I would say with a high degree of certainty, everybody knows who you are. But in the small chance that somebody's joining or watching this that doesn't know who you are, who are you? What do you do with the Wheel of Time? And tell me a little bit about it. Let's start with you, Lauren.
Oh, yeah. I'm Lauren. I have a YouTube channel called Unraveling the Pattern, where I try to do deep dive videos about the Wheel of Time, but I kind of have more of an animation and motion graphics focus and less of a video focus. Because I don't like being on camera too often and I'd rather script everything and go about it that way. But right now I'm focusing a lot on sort of like newcomers to the Wheel of Time, specifically people who will hopefully subscribe to my channel when the TV show comes out. So I'm doing a lot of like new viewer content for people and it's a lot of fun.
Yeah. If you guys have not checked it out, I mean, we're going to try to find a place to showcase this stuff one way or the other, whether it's on the Grape Light or maybe Lauren's making his own thing, whatever we're going to do or he's going to do. He has been making these Watt 101 videos, which are like, I know he just said it, but I'll say it again. Little short clips that are designed for what? For people that have never read the series before?
Yeah, that's kind of the goal. And you know, I eventually hope to branch out to TikTok as well, because I think there's some room for that. But for now, it's just, you know, I'm trying to crank out. You know, one of my problems is I spend a lot of time making these videos and they take me months sometimes.
Yeah.
Not because they take me a super long time, but because I don't have a lot of time to sit down and just crank through it. So doing these shorter 2 to 3 minute videos has really helped me kind of create more content, which is getting me noticed a little more. It's helping me on YouTube and everything. So, and, you know, I owe a lot of that to YouTube for having me, for you, the two of you, I mean, not YouTube, the two of you for having me on your shows and promoting my content. I really appreciate that. But I mean, really, if I could just sit and create animated videos about the Wheel of Time all day, every day, I would. So the goal is to get, you know, have more shorter clips, hopefully with the intent to be able to eventually spend more time on the larger deep dives again. And of course, spoiler content. Everyone in my comments is like, when are you going to do more spoiler videos? And I'm like, I promise it's coming. But right now I'm trying to kind of invest. The hope is that, you know, it'll help me out when the show comes out.
Best advice I think I could give you is make evergreen content, man. You're killing it. And I will say this to everybody who's watching: it is 100% Lauren's fault that the Battle of Foma video isn't done. I have had everything to him like a year ago, and he is just
yeah.
Oh wait, it's the opposite of that.
It takes Nae'Blis a week to create one building on the Tar-Valon map.
Yeah, but it's done now. And I just have to do the other part. So, guys, for those of you who liked our Battle of the Two Rivers video, that was Lauren who helped with that, in case you weren't sure. We have another one coming out hopefully in the near future, and then we have a couple other collaborations that are planned for 2029 and 2030 when I finally get around to them. So fingers crossed. I want to get ahead of ourselves.
Spoiler warning.
Well, hey, what about you, Mr. Innkeeper? What is the Dusty Wheel? Who are you? What do you do? All that.
Sure. I'm Matt, the innkeeper of the Dusty Wheel show. I also don't like to be on camera, so I started a live call-in talk show that I run twice weekly. So all about the Wheel of Time. I kind of fought against the grain on that one, and I'm enjoying that. If you like live Wheel of Time content, we do deep dives in the books, interviews with content creators, interviews with, I guess other guests that are special, like Brandon Sanderson or Michael Redding. Kate Redding and Michael Kramer.
They're all
and
right.
Just basically all of them. We do interviews like that anyways, or we have game nights, whatever it is, we cover Wheel of Time content live. And we love to cover the news live. You've probably seen Nae'Blis on the show before when we do that. So
it's a lot of fun. In case you didn't notice, Matt likes to name drop all of the really cool people. He's like very casually, anytime I'll have my boy Brandon on and we chat it up. In fact, hold on, he's texting me right now. Hold on, I have to give him some advice on his next book.
When are Harriet and Team Jordan going to be on, Matt?
Yeah, right.
When
is Harriet going to be on?
Would you like to see Harriet at the Dusty Wheel?
Of course, yeah.
Are you joking? Nah, we don't want to talk to her.
We'll work on that. We'll work on that. Yeah, I need to get Maria there for sure.
Honestly, get the whole team there, man. That'd be awesome.
You gotta do a deep dive with Maria. That'd be awesome,
dude. If you had Maria on to do it, that's the cheat code for your notes videos when you have the notes on, because she knows all the notes, right? I'm not.
She's much more familiar with them than I would say anybody. So.
Well,
by the way, Nae'Blis is doing some name dropping here. If you don't know who Harriet is is the widow of Robert Jordan, and Maria is one of his assistants, and they call them Team Jordan. But I know Nae'Blis kind of speaks in code here a little bit, but that's what he was talking about.
See, here's the difference. You've actually met these people and probably have their telephone numbers. Me, I know of them from looking at your content on Theoryland and places like that. So. Look, you're the one name dropping. I'm fanboying. There's a difference.
Thank you for name dropping Theoryland. Theoryland is a website I built a long time ago. Theoryland of the Wheel of Time. If you've never been, it's looking pretty dusty over there too.
That's why I called it the Dusty Wheel.
That is why.
No. Well, guys, again, thanks for both of you being here. And I'll say this on the Dusty Wheel too. If you are not a watcher of the Dusty Wheel, if you're watching this live stream later or something like that, it is one of the coolest formats on YouTube. It's not I don't think it's a stretch to say this, Matt. It's probably not your traditional YouTube content. Is that fair to say?
I think it's fair to say, yeah.
You don't see many live call-in talk shows on YouTube, and this is one. I would liken it very much, if you've never watched the Dusty Wheel, think of one of those after shows like Talking Dead that was on after Walking Dead, something like that, where you got panelists, you got all these people coming on. Anyways, very, very cool. Awesome deep dives. You get to call in and talk.
That's fun.
I call in and troll even when I'm not on the show. So
he does.
I do.
Yeah. Talking Dead was kind of was one of the things Taylor and I talked about when we talked about doing a show, which is we wanted to do a live call and talk show about the books, but also about the show itself. So we wanted to be the after show that people came to. So hopefully that's what we're looking forward to. It's getting closer, right?
Right, very close. And
supposedly.
Well, so let me pose this question to you guys, because I talked about this in my last video, and I'll answer this maybe last. I'll kick it to you first, Lauren.
Mm-hmm.
If you had to guess when you think the show comes out, obviously, and I want to preface this by saying sometimes people think that we have insider knowledge or something like that. No, I know nothing about when the show is coming out. Okay. I can make guesses, educated on some things I know. Maybe Lauren knows, I don't know. But Lauren, if you had to guess based on everything you've seen, what would be your guess about when the show comes out?
Well, I have all the episodes here, and I'm just about to drop them on.
I got you.
So they're coming out in 2 minutes. No, I wish I knew. I feel like we all kind of have our fingers on the pulse of the rumor mill, but we don't really know.
Right.
The rumors seem to indicate, though, that we're probably getting a trailer sometime May, June-ish. We're in the second half of May, so I wouldn't hold my breath on that one, but you never know. The show, though, probably within 2 months of the trailer. So some people think, Black Friday. That's kind of my guess. Black Friday.
Black Friday.
How would be, so this goes back to the theory of, that's right, the theory of when the trailer comes out, how much time or room that they typically give between when the trailer drops and the show. Man, 2 months between the trailer and the show. That seems really tight. If we get a trailer soon, I guess I feel like I'm still ever since I started hearing the news dropping, like trailer coming soon, I've still been kind of summer trailer. Yeah, so I'm whatever, I'll pin it to like the middle of the summer, but probably leaning back towards the beginning of the summer, so like a late June, early July. And ever since German Prime Video took away the video, ever since they deleted those tweets, I was thinking maybe it was like they fast forwarded the process, but I'm totally digging into this theory that you've heard probably out there. I love the idea that they put the wrong date in. And so instead of it being like 5/8, it was actually 8/5. So I'm in for like the idea that it's a couple months after like August. So yeah, I like the idea that it's that October, November, December. I definitely think it's the end of the year kind of time frame.
Don't mind me.
I love it.
I've got a wig here too. If more people want to donate.
Oh, you can get Lauren up there too. Thank you, Liza and Jason. Wigs. We wear wigs for money here.
So is it an additional $5? So it's $10, then two of you wear the wigs, and it's $5 only one of you.
I just saw someone else donate, so I'm going for it.
I kind of eyeball it in the sense that like I'll wear it until my head starts getting hot underneath the wig. Then I take it off, and hey.
But I'll say this: I'll throw the pink wig on, but it's going to be like at least like 20 for the pink wig.
Oh my! You have a pink wig.
Yeah, it's that pink wig. Don't you remember?
I was just going to put this on for free. But...
See, this is the one. I'll show. I don't even know if I can get this thing.
Wig. Who got you a pink wig?
You don't remember when? We played a joke one time. I think it was Sarah. I can't remember if she was like a guest, and or she was a caller. I can't remember what it was. Yeah, this thing. Remember?
Oh,
yeah.
That's beautiful.
So, yeah, it's a beautiful wig. There you go.
A beautiful wig. Well, on the topic, and now if you can possibly take me seriously while I'm wearing this, on the topic of the show, I don't see any way, shape. I think we get a trailer this summer.
Yeah.
I don't see any way, shape, or form that the show releases anytime in the summer or early fall.
That'd be crazy. But
yeah. I think it would be nuts if it came out then. First of all, they would never release it in August. So I want to say that up front. I mean, that's not a time that you release a show, typically.
Too much transition between school and everything. Yeah.
So as much as that would be very cool, and I would personally love it if it came out in August. I don't think Matt can take me seriously.
I'm just loving the way
he's just trying to like not laugh. But hey, this is how it happens. This is what we do here. Okay.
I like it.
I think I look like Boris Johnson.
You do. That's a good one.
Yeah, there we go.
Nae'Blis is what someone said.
Oh, did somebody say Nae'Blis?
Yeah, Nae'Blis. They're calling me Elber Hamann. I don't know how I feel about that.
There we go.
I love it.
So here's my question though: do you think there will be another teaser or two before we get a trailer, or do you think we're done with teasers?
Ooh,
I could see them ringing out a couple more teasers.
I think maybe one more and then a trailer.
Yeah, I think we got to shoot. I would love some type of teaser. I mean, so they gave us Daniel Henney.
Mm-hmm.
We got Rosamund Pike. One of the biggest stars has to be Alvaro Morte.
Yeah.
So getting some kind of teaser for Logain, and then getting one for the EF5, I think would make sense too. So both of those, I could imagine something kind of where they can, all five of them can push that, as part of that group. So
see, I think, you could count Egwene and Perrin being covered sort of from the audio.
Kind of, I mean, ish.
You could kind of count Rand being covered from the sword. Ish, but what we haven't seen anything about is Nynaeve. So I wonder if we're going to see a Zoe Robbins or Nynaeve something. But I personally think an Emmons Field 5 thing would be something after a trailer, like when they're ramping up to the actual release, like introducing these characters, the Emmons Field 5.
Oh, I see what you're saying. post trailer for them.
Kind of
I
like
guess
one of those like 30-second TV spots or whatever, that they do.
Well, let's think in general. I'm going to kill the wig for a moment. Let's think in general, like what the trailers or the teasers are for. The teasers aren't really for their major promotional material. The teasers are more for us.
Right.
They're for fans to get, oh, look at that. Cool. Let me get some hype and talk about it. Right. So from that standpoint, I think it makes sense to have a Zoe Robbins trailer or a teaser. On the flip side, though, Alvaro Morte has by far the largest social media following of any of the cast members, including Daniel Henney. Hold on. This is very important.
If we get the pink wig, I got 5
so
on
I think
it.
we got 15 in, $15 more to see.
Yeah.
5 more.
See the
15 more for the pink wig. That's right.
Also, I like this Trollic full frontal teaser, question mark.
Okay. That'll be on Recapped.
I'll be zooming.
Celebrity nudity website. That's where they're going to release it. But, all joking aside, like, yeah, he's got the biggest social media following. Now, he makes the least sense in terms of maybe getting fans fired up, like us fired up. I think I would rather see Nynaeve than Logain.
Yeah.
Right? But that being said, if they're trying to get a reach, Logain makes the most sense. So I could see them doing both.
Yeah.
I could see both happening.
It wouldn't make sense to not do something with Alvaro. I mean, why wouldn't you? To kind of get a little last minute hype before the actual trailer comes out. I mean, he's got to be in the trailer, right? I mean,
well, and it absolutely feels like the Moraine teaser was strategic in that it was released right around the time. Well, we're getting close. We're getting close.
It should have been like 50 or something,
right?
50,000 subscribers, then he'll wear the. No, but I think with the Moraine teaser, it was strategic in that Moraine, or Rosamund Pike rather, was on the news a lot related to the Golden Globe win and possible Oscar nomination, which she didn't get, but it was all kind of around that time. And she did have a lot of Instagram followers. That was the first teaser where the official Amazon Prime account also tweeted the teaser, and they were like, Rosamund Pike as Moraine de Modred or whatever they said. So, and then with Daniel Henney, I mean, he has way more followers than Rosamund Pike does on Instagram.
Yeah.
So I feel like it is the natural next step is Alvaro Morte as Logain. You know what? You say you wouldn't be as hyped with that as maybe like Nynaeve, but if we get a full body shot of any character, right? Logain, for example, in costume fully, oh man, that would be incredible. I would love that.
I wonder on the costuming if they're. I would imagine they are. Oh gosh, here we go.
Well, it's happened. I mean, we've got to all put the wigs on for that.
It just I think we all have to put the wigs on.
I'm going to put on this totally real beard too.
I don't even know how this thing goes on. This isn't going to go well.
Matt, is this the first time you've ever put a wig on in your life?
Yeah, this is the second time that I put this wig on. I don't know.
Oh, geez, how do you do this?
You look beautiful. I mean, I've got to say, I think it's on backwards, maybe. But
where did Matt go? This is Manfear.
Wow, is that Santa?
Yeah, this came with my Santa getup that I wore during the Watt meme parody challenge.
People are going to come in to this live stream and be like, "What in the hell is on?"
Seriously, right?
Like, what is this?
I'm trying to figure out how they get this wig on. But
I mean, this is a preview of Manfear. That's what this is. Anybody this is a preview of what Manfear might be like.
Yeah,
an elder Haman over there.
Is this how you do it? Then you put it in your mouth.
Yeah, you have to constantly. I mean, can you imagine how awful it would be to have hair this long in real life? I'm glad I have none because I don't have to keep doing that.
Screenshot taken.
It is a Manfear teaser, guys. You didn't know you were getting a teaser tonight. You just got a teaser. Okay, back to the serious conversation we're having.
Wigs.
Oh my!
Oh geez! Oh man!
Jennifer Wood.
The color even matches.
I mean, first of all, Jennifer's awesome. In case you guys didn't know, Jennifer's my favorite person.
Which is
She bought me in the entire Murderbot book series.
Did Matt put that on backwards? I don't know if Matt put it on backwards. Matt doesn't know how to put wigs on. So,
thank you, Jennifer. You are the best. And what did I just hit? Nae'Blis and the Wigettes. That's our new name. Oh boy. I feel like I was going to take it off, but now that Jennifer did that, I feel like
I can understand wanting the hair to kind of hide behind it a little bit. That's kind of
it sort of like the whole mask?
Yeah.
Uh-oh, Nae'Blis just froze. Did he freeze for you?
Nae'Blis, come back.
Too much wig action.
Yeah, exactly. Okay.
Is the stream still working?
I think the stream's still working. Is the stream working?
We'll answer soon in chat.
We'll find out.
So you think we will get another teaser, though?
I mean, why wouldn't you spend the time? It just all depends on when they decide to give us the full trailer. I don't think it would make much sense to do a teaser after the full trailer. I think, but the question I guess I have. Oh, he broke the stream. Still good for me. I guess we're still talking.
It's our show now.
Welcome back to the Dusty Wheel. I'm your host, the Innkeeper, and this is Nae'Blis's live show talking about random stuff about the Wheel of Time. My guest with me today is Lauren from Unraveling the Pattern.
I mean Santa Claus. Well, the Dark One just removed his Nae'Blis status.
Oh my gosh, that's so good.
So I don't know how this works. Do we just keep going, or do we wait for him to come back?
We keep going. What are you talking about? So This is what I want to ask you and everybody in chat. When it comes to the actual trailer, do you think I don't forget teaser trailer. Do you think we're gonna get that like an actual teaser trailer, like that 30-second before we get the full 1 to 2 minutes type of trailer, or do you think they're going to go immediately from these kind of little small 5-second things to the full trailer?
Yeah, good point. You know what a lot of shows and stuff do now is they'll do like a hype trailer for the trailer. They'll be like, in 1 week the trailer's coming out, and then it'll be like a quick 15-second teaser.
Yeah, I kind of wonder
something like that, like a sort of a pre-trailer trailer, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I wonder if we're going to actually get one of those. Yeah, like you said, 15, 20-second things. Maybe give us a release date or something to that effect, or some kind of coming soon. I have no idea where Nae'Blis is. I just didn't realize I was doing 2 live shows this week, but this is cool.
I wonder if his internet just crapped out.
I'm seeing a lot of
so he's typing in Discord. Let me message him.
Hashtag Taint Angreal. And then I see a lot of people mentioning, like Sarah Moore just said teaser trailer. Rajesh said think we get a trailer 1 and trailer 2. So so that's what I was saying is, typically these big movies, at least they'll do like a trailer. They'll do some teasers, but when the trailer comes out, then they have like little TV spots. And they'll have maybe like a second iteration of a trailer that comes out even just like a week before the final release. So I wonder if I don't really know how Amazon does that, or if they're going to be doing that much, because it's not like a big budget blockbuster movie or whatever. But people who are like, for example, fans of the MCU, they'll get a trailer, they'll pick it apart like crazy, and then they'll sorry, Nae'Blis is saying something. Well, I was going to say they'll pick it apart like crazy, but then whenever there's like a 15-second or a 30-second spot and there's any new footage, they're pretty quick to find that and talk about it. And so I see that will happen. This is the problem. This is the problem I have, though. I've been promising people a 10-hour live stream, but what if we only get the 30-second teaser? I feel like that's not. We have to wait for like the big teaser. When I say 10-hour live stream, we're talking like whatever 1.5 to 2 minute trailer. If they come out with like a 20 to 30-second trailer, I mean, I'm sure we're going to be talking about that one for a couple hours, but I'm just saying, setting expectations out there for those of you still watching Nae'Blis' show here with us while Nae'Blis is gone. That one's not going to be the 10+ hour one.
I agree. Like when we say trailer, we mean like a full official trailer, not like a trailer or a teaser trailer that's like official.
I like how Glenn and some people are saying that the 30-second one deserves a 5-hour live stream. I don't know. We'll see. I mean, let's be honest. We've done the 2 to 3 kind of range. Maybe that's very possible. Did Nae'Blis give you an indication if he's going to rejoin his show, or are we just supposed to?
He's messaging me on Discord. He says it's our channel now. We can do what we want with this channel.
I like Hybrid Havoc just said, not sure how I feel about the new Dusty Wheel format.
Oh, he's back.
Welcome back.
I wanted to say thank you guys for running my channel for me. I appreciate it. I don't even know what I'm like. So, guys, in case you ever get into streaming, you're not supposed to do it on Wi-Fi, which I don't. I have a plugged-in router. The router, I don't know what happened. Like, you normally don't have internet issues this way, but
nice.
Back.
I did. We had a little impromptu Dusty Wheel 5 minutes, but welcome back. Welcome back.
Thank you.
But we did take all of your subscribers and divide them up amongst ourselves. So
have at it, man. Have at it.
Somebody said they didn't like the new Dusty Wheel format, and I was like, I get it.
If you judge me by my YouTube comments, most of them don't like me anyway. So it's fair. I mean, I'm just saying, like,
exactly.
I'm reading some of these comments now catching up. Like, man, fear is now Nae'Blis. Wow.
I mean, they turned pretty quick, man. I want to say that, like, there wasn't like an outpouring of like wait for the Nae'Blis. They were just like, it's like every Nae'Blis, I'll be honest. They were just like, move on to the next Nae'Blis, you know.
Failed coup attempt. I like that.
No, nice. We almost got away with it.
I was going to say, I think they engineered this. They got on the show.
Exactly.
Somebody's out snipping my internet. But hey, I'm back. You know what's crazy? I wasn't sure if, like, when I disappeared, if it like ended the stream. Apparently not.
No, it didn't. So that was like, that was cool.
That's great. Apparently you guys can keep going.
Well, I was happy that you didn't have to like restart it to like get back in.
That's always the biggest pain in the butt if you have internet issues. Right. Is YouTube makes you like create a new stream,
which kills. It kills.
Thank you, Pat Stone. I'm not sure what super sticker. I'm not sure what that is, but thank you.
It's cute. It's really cute.
I like you more than Gawain. See, I appealed to the masses, and now they're speaking out their love for you, Nae'Blis.
Well, you know what? So, I'm totally cool with you guys stealing people because you guys make good stuff. So, like, if you have not already subscribed to these two, by the way, you should do that.
Thank you.
Yeah, except for Dusty Wheel. Everybody unsubscribe from Dusty Wheel.
Whoa, I put a freaking wig on for your show.
Okay,
today.
That's true. You did. You
wow.
did. I
man.
Is there such a thing as like a half subscription? Like a follow on Twitch?
Exactly.
Right?
Follow on Twitch. That's
okay.
That's true. Follow me on Twitch too.
Well, I'm going to do a really crazy promotion here, and then I'm going to segue into a question. So, in case those of you who don't know, who like watching live streams, if you like, I have a podcast now called not My God, that's the website that I have. It's called Tarval and After Dark. I do it with Jess, the Amerlin seat from the Amerlin Study, formerly of the White Tower podcast, and Recappa of Wheel Talk, who is one of the most underrated YouTube channels on the internet. Seriously, if you guys don't watch Recappa and Wheel Talk, I mean, you're missing out. Like, it's hysterical. He does, well, Brian goes by Brian, but Recappa is Recappa. So Recappa does recaps of the books in a very comedic style with like costumes, and
it's amazing.
You really can't describe it without, you just got to go see it.
Yeah.
It's so entertaining, so well put together. I think Recappa doesn't get enough credit for even like her editing and other things. Like it's quality stuff. And because she has such a great Patreon support, she's been able to invest a lot of that into improving the quality even more. So, you know, she's gotten like better microphones, better camera. She's used a green screen in her last video. And, you know, my last WOT 101 video, I actually made her the quote unquote sponsor. I mean, mostly just this show is brought to you by the letter A and Recappa Sedai. And and I was surprised at some of the negative feedback I got from people. Like, she's so amazing. I feel like people don't recognize the talent in that channel.
It's crazy.
Oh, it's ridiculous.
And she deserves 20 times the subscribers easily. And so,
So honestly, everybody, I just put it up on the screen. Let's do everybody a favor here. Make sure that you subscribe to Wheel Talk. You will not regret it, honestly. It's even if you're not into recaps, like I know there are people that aren't, you will be into these recaps.
Yeah.
How do I put it? Like you will like it. Do you remember the Tinker song?
Like, oh my gosh.
Brian wrote a song called the Tinker Song.
Yeah.
Which
good.
It's incredible. Okay. But I do a podcast with those two, which is a lot of fun. It is a very different style podcast. This is not just like a normal discussion podcast, guys. It's like sketch comedy, and we do commercials, which are Wheel of Time oriented. And we obviously talk about Wheel of Time too. We've actually had some, I would say, pretty spirited discussions that I think are worth it. So we wanted to take like a fresh take on podcasts, and so we tried this, and so far it has gotten a I really wasn't sure how to gauge whether a podcast was successful because I've never done one before. But like from what I understand, it's growing very quickly. So I think people are liking the format. So I'm very excited about it. The reason I say all that, on our last podcast, which came out this morning, you can again find that on thegreatblight.com/Tarvalin After Dark or wherever you get your podcasts. But we asked the question on the podcast, what are the 3 things you are most excited for in the show, like coming up? And so I figured this would be a good time to swing it to you guys. Maybe do one at a time so you don't have to come up with 3 at once. But like, Matt, we'll start with you this time. What is one thing you are most excited about for season 1 of Wheel of Time?
Whew, great question. So most excited about is probably just, well, I was going to say most worried about, so maybe I won't use that one. Most excited about will just be, just getting to meet everyone in Edmondsfield. Like seeing Edmondsfield, right? Mm-hmm. Seeing the, winter night, if you will, just all of these actors that we've seen become part of like the Cothans and, all of the parents now that we know and just watching the town come together basically. And then having obviously the attack. So just that first sequence, I'm most excited about, just kind of jumping in right where the book begins, basically kind of taking on a journey, if you will.
Is it the people you're excited for? Is it the buildings? Is it kind of all of it?
It's the people. I've said this to people and maybe they don't agree. They don't believe me when I say this. There's just some things I just never cared about and still don't. Even in a visual medium standpoint, like I think clothing's cool. And I'm going to be like, that's a really pretty. And I think buildings are cool and be like, so pretty. But it's not, I don't get like excited about that aspect of it. It's going to be cool. The world itself, world building is fun, but the people embodying these characters and seeing their twists on it, if you will, or just kind of bringing their personality into it. Yeah, I look forward to that the most.
Yeah, that's a great answer. I mean, I think you're right that, as much as people are complaining about this and that related to the casting or whatever, I really think within an episode, we're going to see these characters as who they are. And I think that's what I look forward to Rosamund Pike is moraine to me. I can't unsee that now. And I'm looking forward to that with all the other characters. I mean, even that little land teaser, I'm more on board with that now than I ever was. And so, you say like costumes and sets and stuff don't matter, but what I think matters is that feeling like you're in a familiar and yet new place. Like in the Lord of the Rings movies, when they introduce the Shire, there's a feeling to it that is kind of indescribable. And you're not going, oh, that guy's shirt's a little weird. Or what's the deal with that choice on the set over there on the left? It just feels right. And that's what I'm kind of looking forward to.
It's not that they don't matter. They don't like push the needle for me separately. Does that make sense? Like, of course I want it to look great. I want it to be, but that's not the thing that in the end I will judge on whether or not I like the show or not, or enjoyed it. It's going to come down to the characterization, and it's going to kill me, I think, if the dialogue is just really not great. Right. Like that always, like Star Wars to this day, the dialogue, I can't handle it. Like some of the early stuff. So the characterization, the dialogue, the people that embody the roles, that's going to matter the most. But everything else is going to be important.
But before we get to yours, I want to pounce off that. Matt, I get accused. I don't know if you guys get this. I do. This is half my YouTube comments when I do news videos. But I'm a total shill for Amazon, and I will defend any garbage they release, is what I think, quote unquote, people say. Let's assume for a second, and I hope what I'm about to say is completely untrue. Okay, let's say the show is hot garbage, like it's just terrible, like bad writing, bad whatever. Right? I don't see that happening, but let's say it's true. How is that? How do you feel like, number one, fans will react to that? And then number two, like, how will you react to that? Like, will you keep making content? Will you I just wonder, like, does that deflate the sales of people, or is it like,
well, so it's difficult because then you get into that parody route. You get into kind of, from a talking about a perspective, all of a sudden there's like, becomes kind of more of a joke than it becomes kind of more of a, excitement per se. So I have a hard time believing it's going to get there. And I cover content not related to the show right now, so I probably still do that and the show itself.
Yeah.
And it would probably turn more. I'll be honest, right? If it's just really, really bad, then yeah, I'm sure a lot of this stuff there'll be some, we'll be breaking stuff down and it'll get really, really critical. And I'm hoping it's not to that level.
I hope it's not too. But
yeah.
Yeah, my personal, I've talked about this before, and right now I'm actually kind of on the fence about it. I've said in the past that I'm going to be more like an apologist, which is this idea that I'm going to try to look on the bright side with it and just be like, look, we can't understand all the decisions that were made behind the scenes, whatever, like try to really give them the benefit of the doubt. But again, if it's hot garbage, if we're talking like CW levels of cheesy teen romance and bad dialogue like the prequels, Star Wars prequels, and just like, okay, there's going to be a line where I'm going to be like, okay, this is hot garbage, and I feel the need to critique it. And yet, have you seen all of the other shows that are produced on Amazon and Netflix? Like, there are elements of Carnival Row I didn't love, but in general, it was not hot garbage. It was quality. And I can't help but think that there may be things about this that we as super fans don't like, but it's not going to be hot garbage. There's going to be elements of the cinematography. I mean, just the directors they've hired. They're going to be elements of the sets and the like I said before, that feeling of being in a fantasy world. That stuff's going to be there. If Perrin has a wife or whatever weird things they may choose to do happen, I still think the heart of the books that we all love will be there. And if there's a second season, then I'm still going to be on board, like as a content creator.
Oh yeah, I mean, we're still talking
I'm
about
invested in it.
Look, let's the funny part about this is Brandon. If you go back and read comments about Brandon's books by fans on some of the major forums at the time, there was not universal love for this. Yeah. The amount of stuff people tore apart that Brandon did is a significant amount. That doesn't mean in general fans weren't like, I appreciate having this and I liked the books. There were tons of fans that did not like the way he handled characters, the way he handled descriptions, the way he handled plotting, the way he handled the scene, whatever. And that's going to happen in and then if we go back further, Jordan was the same way, man. The dude would put out a book and we all waited 2 years for it. So guess what? We had problems with something, or,
Yes.
we broke down something. There's like too many descriptions, too much explaining, too many side plot things. This doesn't, whatever. So in the end of the day, there's going to be that for whatever. The TV show, we've been all waiting for this TV show for years and years and years. Man, the expectations are so high. It's hard for us not to be critical at some point. We will be, but I'm just hopeful that there's a lot more reasons to just really enjoy the ride, if that makes sense. But I want to bring this up to you, Nae'Blis, because you just said you get picked on for being like, this is a comment someone made. I'll post it in chat. You can post it up there. I'm just going to say, I'll just give the name. I won't out them. Some fan, there we go, said this. They said, oh shoot, I can't even post the comment's too long for me to post, so I'll post this in 2 shots. How about that?
That works. While you're doing that, I'm going to pop up. Thank you, Barter That Hand. Thank you, Vance. Appreciate you, man. Positive vibes. It can't be as bad as Shannara or CW shows. I hope not. Looking forward to that sweet, sweet music. I agree.
There you go. You were on the show last week about Moraine. This fan said, why is she closing her eyes? I sure as hell hope she's not channeling. Matt seems absolutely terrified in agreeing with or saying something that seems even remotely derogatory. And then the second comment, the second half of this is about this footage. It's hard to listen to. Thank you, Nae'Blis, for showing some balls. There you go.
apparently I bring it and you don't.
I know. There we go.
Well, this idea that you're reacting live to something and you have to appease everyone's opinion in that moment. Like,
right.
We talked about the dress a little bit from that recent Moraine leak, or if you call it a leak, the accidental drop. Like, my initial reaction was, oh, that's weird. But I really wasn't hyper focused on it, the way it turned into a thing. And I ended up speaking about it for 10 minutes almost in my last video. And yet really it was like a knee jerk reaction. Like, oh, that doesn't make sense to me. I guess we'll learn more later and move on to the trollic, which is the thing that mattered to me in that.
Right.
But it became almost like a meme. And I saw a comment. Somebody said something like, I'm still 100% convinced that the only reason Amazon even made this show is because they want Lord of the Rings to do well and they don't want anyone else to pick it up and have competition. And so they were thinking that Amazon is investing what, 500 million plus into this show so that it can fail, so no one else gets it. I'm like, that's the stupidest thing I've ever heard. But you know what? The trolls are going to troll, and that's just like you said, Matt. It's always going to be a thing.
Yeah, it's always anything.
Here's where I'm at with it. If the show is bad, I will probably shift to nitpicking the crap out of the show. Just to be real, if it's bad, I'm going to talk about how bad it is. I genuinely believe this. I think almost everything I have seen, I have felt positive about. The few things that I haven't, I've said something about. I would argue, to talk about the moraine clothing gate real quick. I mean, I talked about this in my video. I think that people are making harsh judgments based on a 3-second clip that you can't even see. You can't even see the whole thing to it, right? Like we really can't tell what she's wearing. So, oh my goodness.
I'm putting on the wig for that one.
What did I notice?
Ryan Timms. Thank you, my man. Thank you. That's a lot of money. Ryan. So you let me know if you want me to put a wig on. I will do it. So here's the show not being hot garbage.
We can look like hot garbage.
Ryan needs to tell us, was this a wig?
Yeah, Ryan, are we wanting wigs here, or is this a general comment? But I will say this: he does say Taishar Nae'Blis, Taishar Innkeeper, Taishar Unraveling, which I appreciate. Now, when you do realize when you say that, when you say Taishar Nae'Blis, you're saying true blood of Nae'Blis. Does that mean that you want to see my blood? True blood of the Innkeeper.
I think it's clear he donated it. It's in red. You got it.
It is in red. Yeah. Thank you, Ryan. You are the best. I will probably put a wig on. Not a wig donation. See, there we go.
Oh, there we go.
Not a wig donation. Thank you, Ryan.
My beautiful hair.
But all of that aside, here's. I haven't seen much that I think is bad. Okay, I really haven't. Now, I'm sure here are the things that I think are yet to come. I think we have not seen any of the major changes yet.
Yeah.
I'm not sure what I will think of the major changes, right? We know that they're coming, guys. I think if anybody thinks that we've seen every change they're going to show, you're nuts. Like, there are things they have to change. There are things that we're going to think they didn't need to change.
Tip of the iceberg,
right?
What we've seen, yeah.
They are doing everything they can to prepare us for this being different than we think it will be. Okay. I view my job as a creator in talking about it is to bring perspective on it. That's how I view it. So that can come across, I think, sometimes as being a shill, because it might seem like I'm defending a decision they made, but the reality is I just want to bring some perspective to say, look, I remember the Game of Thrones fandom. I was a part of it when that show was being made. And I remember the outrage about certain things. And now you don't even think about them. I remember the outrage that Wolverine wasn't short when they cast Hugh Jackman and he's 6'4", right? Like, because, Wolverine is only 5'3". How dare they? Like, This is a huge deal. They're ruining the X-Men.
Yep.
Now, can any of you think of Wolverine and not think of Hugh Jackman?
No, exactly.
My point on it is that all of these little things that we get so fired up about, perspective-wise, are usually not as big of a deal.
Yeah.
Now, when the show comes out, I think we're going to have a lot more information where I think we really get to talk about what they did. Do we agree with that? And I will absolutely have those discussions about what do I love that they did and what do I really think was a bad idea. And I'm sure there are things I will think are a bad idea. What do you guys? I mean, go ahead.
So I was going to say that's one of the things that I've tried to make clear, which is like I'm just not going to get in. I'm not going to have outrage because of a 3-second something, right? Like I need an episode. I need 2. I need 3 episodes. I need to see where Rafe and his team are going with this, right? Because it's not going to be the same thing. He's already said it like 100 times. So I'm going to try to react on the merits of the choices they made for where they're going, not simply just because, oh, they made this choice and it's different than the books, therefore I hate it, right? They made this choice. It's related to these other choices they're making. does that even make sense for the choices they're making? Will these changes that they're making, how are they going to take into account all these other things that are coming? That's going to be interesting to find out what they're going to do because of this, and this. But yeah, the outrage for me, I guess, would be more along the lines if they tried to. I think I'd be more shocked if by trying to copy everything and getting something wrong than taking it kind of a stab at a vision of sorts and then running with it, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Well, okay, back to the original. I'm sorry we got
sorry. Yeah, I know.
Hey, Lauren, one of the things you're excited. What's one thing you're excited for in the show?
I mean, I was thinking about this. I hope that we get to see Moraine talk a little bit about Manetheren, however.
There you go.
I really look forward to that. I mean, if it doesn't happen, I'll be okay with it too. But I hope we get something like that. I think I've been thinking a lot about how are they going to handle exposition. And this is one of the reasons why I was inspired to do my WOT 101 series, is because I don't want them to explain all the details and intricacies of how the one power works and the Aes Sedai and blah, blah, blah. Like, I want it to feel natural within the show, and I don't want it to be like Loyal dumping information for 3 pages. Even though that's very much how Robert Jordan did it, and I loved it the way he did it, it doesn't work for a TV show. And so, but there are
a good TV show. Because
a good TV show. Yeah.
That happens all the time in bad TV shows.
True. Yes, it's true. And so my hope is that we do get some really great moments, though, where you have explanations of history, and the Manetheren story that Moraine tells is absolutely one that I'm looking forward to seeing.
Yeah, that'd be good.
I love that part of the books. And I'm hoping we truly get that. Now, it's funny, Recappa brought this up on our podcast. Tar Valon After Dark, but same thing. That was one of hers, and gosh, which one of the things we talked about with it is like, how are they going to do it? Like,
right?
Like she kind of described, like as Moraine is standing there telling the story, like having kind of like a misty, like people walking around to like the actual battle and having it fade. Like, do they flash back to it? Do they how do you do that visually, right? To show Trollic armies, like, do they show that? Do they want to get into that? Like,
yeah, good question. I mean, at the start of the Lord of the Rings, they kind of do that sort of a thing where they're showing the armies, they show the elves. It's a very high production value right off the bat, and I don't know if they can do that necessarily in the Wheel of Time first season, but I do hope that we get something like that. If we don't get it, at least we have Recappa's Lego version that we can always follow.
That's true. Yeah. But I'm really curious. I can't wait to see this, but this, again, one of the same times I don't know what we will see. I can't wait to see them attempt to create a world that is the third age of a world that goes through turnings. And in other words, we already know, because people brought this up, right? The clothing thing. But yeah, we have the Warrior Cloaks, and we have Angreal and Terangreal, and we come from an age of legends. Like, this shouldn't actually feel exactly like the 18th or 17th centuries.
Right.
It shouldn't feel that way. Some things should come from there, obviously, influences that Robert Jordan was talking about, but it shouldn't feel like we're there. In other words, there should be reason to believe that we're not, that we're somewhere else, if you will, in a different age. And I don't know, that's probably hard to pull off, to do it right? Like, how do you mix like a sci-fi past and future into a somewhat sci-fi present, and do it well so people understand it intuitively without having to do exposition? I don't know. Like, I think it's a huge challenge that Jordan gets away with, because he can just explain it in an encyclopedia, or he can explain it somewhere, and you know these things because people can just go like, well, this is what happened. They just tell you a story.
Well, and what? We all have our different, in a written medium, they leave a lot of that building of what things look like and how they appear and what you value. That's up to the reader.
Yeah.
So like you were talking about, you don't care about clothing. I know I don't care about the clothing in the Wheel of Time. Some people are obsessed with it, right?
Oh yeah.
Latch on to all of Robert Jordan's descriptions. In my head, I sort of casually read over the descriptions. Like, that's kind of how I do things.
Right.
Like, and I wonder, like with a show, you have to flesh everything out. Like you have to, what Robert Jordan even said, I think you were the one that mentioned this, Matt. Robert Jordan even said, I don't know what an ageless face looks like.
Yeah.
Like he was asked to describe it, right? And couldn't tell you.
Yeah, now I want that quote.
Yeah,
I'm going to look up that quote.
Fact checking going on right here.
But like for all the people that are like, Moraine doesn't have an ageless face, they can't be Aes Sedai without ageless faces. The author didn't even know what that really looked like. Like it's easy to write that. And so we sort of can kind of add our own stuff in, right? Like we can add our own interpretation of what an ageless face looks like.
So this is a direct quote that he gave to Les DeBell. The DeBell brothers did the graphic novel.
The graphic novel, yeah.
He did a lot of he was trying to explain to help the artists figure out how to actually draw them the way that Robert Jordan saw them. Which, let's be honest, no artist ever seems to have really achieved what was in Robert Jordan's head, because honestly, that's impossible to get unless you're the artist that has it in your head. He said, as for the ageless look, I have always imagined it as being a difficult in setting an age to the woman. You glance at her the first time and think she's 40, but the next instant you think she can't be more than 20, and you just can't settle on where she belongs in an age bracket. If you try the idea about combining the two faces, I suggest using 20 and 40, not 50, but do you then end up with a face that simply looks 30? I wish I could give you more guidance or a good suggestion. It's a lot easier when I only have to envisage the image in my head. So yes, even for him, he couldn't explain exactly what he was seeing. He was like, but that's not really quite what ageless isn't 30, but probably mix some faces, but I can't really tell you exactly how that would be because it's make-believe.
Right. Exactly.
Right.
So those are the types of things I think that are going to get adapted that will just absolutely trigger some people.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm just willing to say I don't care about some of that.
Well, I'll be honest, Hollywood does. So Hollywood is the ageless thing, in my opinion. You look at a Helen Mirren or something like that, or you look at any actress. If you think about Aes Sedai and put them in this, Hollywood does this all the time, with enough whatever makeup, or they purposely are trying to make people look not the age that maybe they look out in the streets, if you will, you might see somebody out there. So, to me, I don't know. It's always seemed like, I can't really define the age, and that's good enough for me. To me, that's going to be
honestly, Matt, whenever I've thought of the ageless look, I've actually thought of you, because I don't know if most of the viewers Matt is actually 83 years old.
It's true.
I would have said 87, but
yeah,
for every year of Theoryland, that definitely added 3 years on. I would agree with that, man. If you've ever run a forum, run it for 20 some odd years, and you'll start to feel age coming on.
It's my opinion that the ageless look should be done away with, simply because we talk about the actor, certain actresses in Hollywood, for whatever reason, they kind of look different from their age. In my opinion, that kind of does the actresses a disservice. There's this problem in Hollywood where women above a certain age are not cast as often. And I really hope they do away with this. I want to see wrinkles on Cadsuane, for example. I want to see that this is an aged and experienced actor / person. Personally, I think it would be weird if you just gave a 40-something-year-old woman a gray bun and said, that's Cadsuane. I want to see Sorelia or Sorelia, whatever her name is. I want to see these women as super old, almost
just that one's not going to, if they choose to go against that. I wouldn't be surprised if every once in a while they did try to use some CGI to see someone's face and have it seem like maybe either younger or older than they thought they saw before. Mm-hmm. And that could be an interesting way to ask viewers to go what's going on here? Why are their faces looking, it's and letting the viewers kind of figure it out that their age is not something that you should think you can determine simply by looking at their face. I can see them doing that, where they're not really trying to have that happen all the time. but that they mix it in every once in a while, and you're caught off guard, and you're like, wait a second, what did I just see? And that, because that's the thing that Robert Jordan was talking about, which was you're unsure because you see something that you weren't expecting, and then you look again and you see something different, and eventually you call that ageless because you don't know what age they must be, because every once in a while you're getting something different. I don't know. That's how I would, if I was doing it, I would lean into that instead of trying to, like, I don't know, make everyone again look 30. I don't know. Even Jordan thought like that was dumb.
This is tangential, but one of my favorite stupid scenes in The Wheel of Time that I think is hilarious every time I reread it is, Lanfear appears as this young, the most gorgeous woman Rand has ever seen. Even Loyal is just like, wow, this is a beautiful creature, right? And Selene is this beautiful thing. We've seen some like rotting old Forsaken in the first book, and there's a moment when she comes to Rand and she's like, hey, you want to see my true form? And he's like, oh, I don't know, like that could be really gross, like, and then she's just more beautiful. To me, for some reason, that's so stupid and so funny. And I don't know if they're going to pull it off in the show, but if they can somehow de-age her and then make her look older but more beautiful, that would be hilarious if they could pull it off. But
see, you just totally hit on something that they are in a no-win scenario with.
Yeah,
I'll bring up two people, Lanfear and Galad. There's a no-win there because they're described in people's head, like Robert Jordan describes them as the most beautiful people you could possibly ever imagine seeing, right? But that's always in the eye of the beholder.
Right.
And like, I think no matter who they cast, some people are going to go, oh no, I'm revolted by blankety blank. And the bottom line, the reason I bring this up is this. Here's my take on things. I will point out things that I feel like are taking away from the story. Those are the things I'm going to be ultra critical of, right? If I feel like doesn't feel like Wheel of Time, if it has changed the story in a way that I don't think was necessary to change, like it just feels like an arbitrary one, then I'll point it out. But by and large, things like not having the heron on the end of the blade, I mean, just things like that are just triggering people. There are always going to be people that are really, really upset, and there's nothing that we're going to be able to do about that. They could have made a perfect word-for-word adaptation of Robert Jordan's Wheel of Time, and people would still be upset that they did something that not the way they saw it, right? Yeah. So I'm going to take it for what it is.
I'll probably lean a little bit differently than that. As in, I really like, and I did this with the Wheel of Time itself, I like embedding in the book, in the story itself, and then trying to understand the canon from within that. So I would not be surprised if I started developing a canon of changes and then reacted against the changes against each other, if that makes sense, and focused on what they were trying to accomplish and how this new canon would change the story versus saying, hey, this canon's different, because that's less fun for me. It's like, yes, this canon point, I mean, not that I won't be like acknowledge it, like, yeah, they changed this canon, but I'm going to be a lot more interested in why. It's like, why do they change it, and then does it work? And how would you make it work, and how can you fit this change into the overall story? Will this actually work in another turning? Like that's going to be that's just how I like, and I've always enjoyed the Wheel of Time, is trying to understand how whatever new information Robert Jordan gave us fit or didn't fit with everything he'd given us before then. So
you going back to the question, like, what are the things we're looking forward to? I mean, this may be kind of a cop-out answer, but I'm looking forward to the changes because it's new Wheel of Time. It's something new to talk about and speculate about and get excited about. And isn't that what makes the Wheel of Time great? I mean, I hope they don't change it entirely, but I like the idea of them making certain choices and us sort of picking that apart and going, why did they do that? Maybe there will be a payoff later. Rebecca from Reading the Pattern, I mean, she had a video today that came out that was like, don't freak out. That was like the name of the video. Right. And I feel the need often to sort of do like, what's the word, crowd control or quality control with people, where I'm like, look, we don't have all the information. Let's be calm about this. I feel like I constantly have to like assure people it's going to be okay. But in reality, we should embrace the change. We should be excited about it. That's part of what's so great is this is a new Wheel of Time thing that we get to discuss.
Until they ruin something for me. It's like, there's going to be something, let's be honest. Each one of us is going to have something where we're going to be like, damn.
That was the straw that broke the camel's back. Maybe it's a literal camel.
Yeah. There's, because I want to tease out like, oh, people I think people are freaking out about stuff that I just don't care about. But I'm sure someday it'll be like, we finally found the thing Matt cares about. And now we can, shove it in his face of like, that they won't care about the thing that I'm annoyed by,
One thing I am looking for, here's kind of the way I'm thinking of it in my head a little bit. I'm excited for the fact that I might not always know what's going to happen.
Yeah,
right? You get what I mean? Like I might be watching it and I might not know exactly how the whole thing is going to play out.
Right.
Like so I'm kind of looking at it that way. Like I think for us, it will be fairly predictable, even with changes that we kind of know the direction of the story. Right. So, but I'm still excited, even if either way they go with it, I guess I'm going to be happy. As long as, here's a couple things. Here's my checklist. The story still feels like Wheel of Time. Like it, and I think Brandon hit that. One of the things Brandon said after he visited the set and read the scripts and everything was, there are going to be massive changes. He said that, right? So guys, massive changes are coming, but it still feels like Wheel of Time, right? I mean, he said that. So I feel good about that, but that's one thing on my checklist. Another piece of it is this. I want the characters and the dialogue to be well written.
Yeah.
It will be totally non-immersive for me. It'll break my immersion if the dialogue is garbage. I want the acting to be good, right? But I think if they nail those three things, frankly, if they get the and I guess I'll add one more to this: CGI/special effects.
Yeah,
if that doesn't look cheesy and terrible, then if they can do those four things, I'll probably be pretty happy with what we get.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that related to one of your comments, which now I'm blanking what it was. Oh, well, I was going to say CGI. So do you guys, when you did the live reaction to the Trollic thing last week, you both were like, yeah, this is practical. And I've seen so many people say that Trollic in the background is practical. I didn't see it that way personally.
Yeah, I'm back to leaning CGI.
I'm kind of back and forth on it myself, but I don't know. If the CGI looks that good though, where we can't tell, it's great.
It didn't feel CGI to me. If you look at it, we're breaking down. We got, and I'm sure the actual release that they have will be different, but we have literally like 4 frames of Trollic.
Yeah.
Okay, so it's
and it's not the focus of the shot. Yeah.
Right. It's not the focus of the shot. Although I was going to say I do think it's probably not CGI. I'm leaning that way. I guess I'm not seeing where you're thinking it is CGI. Like, what makes you think that?
Oh, I have 10 minutes about it on my last video.
I don't watch any of your content. I don't watch any of your content. I'm joking. I do. I just haven't seen that one.
I could go into it, but there's a lot there.
Yeah. I do want to bring up a question that Marisu asked here in chat. And I know, yes, it was a question for Matt, so it feels very selfish for me to want to bring up this one. But it says, Marisu said, question for Matt, is changing the metaphysics riskier than changing plot points? And to which I replied 100% yes. So this is the difficulty that they have, which is I don't really care how much they tweak plots. As long as generally the plots, you know what I mean? Like we Emmonsfield and Rand's the dragon and Moraine, whatever, like the general plots of like Moraine's trying to help him get over here and he's fighting this inclination to become whatever those general kind of plot points are. Sure, keep those. They go to Faldara. It sounds like, okay, well, we got the plot. Yeah. But as soon as you like make this world a linear world, like linear time or something, or this isn't like multiple turnings of the wheel. The heroes of the horn aren't a mechanism of the wheel that it uses to fix the pattern, and you basically take out components of the metaphysics. To me, that's when it becomes more bland fantasy. And that's my concern is the metaphysics, if done right, I can handle plot changes. But as soon as you take out like the creator and the dark one and the wheel, like if you mess with what the wheel is, like that's the freaking Wheel of Time. Like that's the whole nutshell of this thing. And so I think changing metaphysics is extremely risky, honestly. And by the way, hardest thing to not do in the Wheel of Time is to run afoul of a metaphysics rule. Brandon, it's not like Brandon was a huge metaphysics geek, right? Like he had to be really careful, right? That he didn't just have the characters do something that the metaphysics didn't present as possible, right? Well, that's a really difficult thing. If you don't dig into the metaphysics, it's hard to know where you haven't crossed the line. So I would say, yeah, risky.
Yeah, and one of the things I love about the Wheel of Time is the sci-fi elements. Like that's something that's sort of unique to the Wheel of Time in particular. It's not really just fantasy. There's a lot of sci-fi there. Did we lose Nae'Blis again, or are you just sitting really still?
He's sitting really still. Welcome back to the Dusty Wheel. I'm your host, Keeper, and here we are again at Nae'Blis's joint. Thank you, Lauren, for joining me. We're going to have another guest. Nae'Blis will be back here in just a moment. But we were just discussing metaphysics, and I wanted to get your thoughts on changing metaphysics in the Wheel of Time TV show. What are your thoughts?
I love how your Dusty Wheel voice turns on. You suddenly are like more like a presenter. You're not like laid back. It's so funny. Well, I actually wanted to say two things related to something Nae'Blis said a while back, but also the metaphysics thing. There is one thing that I would be okay with them experimenting with, not changing in the metaphysics, because I think there is room for this. But the idea of this very binary magic system is something that is, and when I say binary, I mean male, female. I've had some conversations with people like Lesbi Nerdy and other people who have a much better understanding of like trans people than I do. And
sure.
I've been sort of convinced that this is something that they could absolutely address. I don't think it needs to be like hyper focused on or anything, but they could have trans characters, for example, in the tower, or they could have someone who is born female but identifies as a trans male in the Black Tower, as an example. And I don't know that they have to bring a lot of attention to it. I don't know that they have to be like, no, hold on. Their soul is male, therefore they channel Sidene, even though they were born into a female body or whatever. I don't know that they have to explain it like that complex, but I would like to see some experimentation with that, while still keeping the magic system binary. If they can figure out a way to do that, that would be amazing.
Yeah, you wouldn't have to change the metaphysics. You would have to kind of basically, well, I shouldn't say you would have to add to the wheel you don't have to add anything to the notion of the wheel will do what it needs to do in the world to make the outcome what it wants. Pattern level events is a thing. Pattern level event is a thing. It's not like there's not an easy way to explain it other than Robert Jordan said the wheel made it happen, so that happened. So welcome to the show, Nae'Blis. I appreciate you being
for having
guest.
me on,
Also,
Matt. I appreciate it.
Thank you very much. It's awesome to have you here. We were just talking about metaphysics, and Lauren was talking about the idea of changing some things up within the metaphysics system, while not necessarily changing the metaphysics themselves, by perhaps making room for more trans characters or other characters that don't fit necessarily into a binary system. So what are your thoughts, Nae'Blis, on this?
Without hearing all of it, I'm torn on this issue. Obviously, I have a vested stake in representation, right? And I want to see that. The hard part for me is that I don't, like you said, Matt, I don't want to see major changes to the metaphysics.
Sure.
Yeah. I think if we change what makes the Wheel of Time, right? That doesn't mean that those things can't be tweaked. And so if you're talking specifically about the issue of trans, I think there are ways around that are easy to navigate necessarily. So I don't think that's a major change, just to talk on that example. But you're absolutely right. I do not want to see changes to the wheel, changes to the way that people channel, the difference of Sidar and Sidene. Like, I don't want to see those things being different than they are, because that was most of what pulled me into the Wheel of Time to begin with.
I agree. I have to say, though, just like the costumes and just like the ageless face, these are subjective things. Like, we may love the Wheel of Time for the metaphysics. There may be other people who are like, if that changes, it's not going to make or break it for me. As long as we get the basic plot and Rand, to the end, just like in the books. Like, I don't know that it is that important to everybody. I absolutely don't want them to mess with that. I think that was one of the most brilliant things that Robert Jordan did. I have one more comment before I have to jump off here.
Yeah, I was going to say we'll probably end the stream here anyway in case my internet doesn't go out again. So go ahead.
Well, so you mentioned you're concerned about the writing and like the dialogue and some of that stuff. But something that came to my mind when you were talking about that is one of the things I loved about the first season of Game of Thrones was the dialogue. And in my opinion, one of the reasons that the dialogue was so strong in the first few seasons was because it came straight from the book. And George R. R. Martin was a master of dialogue. And so over the course of the writing of the show, the dialogue seemed to get worse and worse, especially once they ran out of source material. And I think most people would agree that the last season or two of Game of Thrones really dipped in quality as far as writing and dialogue. But I think we've also seen in many shows where they kind of don't get their stride until they're into like season 2 or 3. Another example of that, I've been watching Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. with my family. And, Rafe Judkins was involved with that show to some degree. Mm-hmm. That show progressively, the writing and the dialogue got better. Then there was a point when I think Disney cut their budget and it went way downhill. And then it got better again when it kind of became popular again. So my point is, we are going to be making judgments about this show when it comes out. We're going to be making judgments about the writing, about all kinds of things. That doesn't mean there isn't room for improvement. Like, I think we're all invested in the show getting a second, third, fourth season, because at the end of the day, we want to see them get to the end. And I think it would be a major nail in the coffin of Wheel of Time as an adaptation if the show gets canceled too early. I mean, 20 years down the road, maybe it'll happen again, but you know what I'm saying? Like, it would be better, in my opinion, if they can make it to the end and we give them that benefit of the doubt.
Thank you, Bo. Yeah. Appreciate you, man.
Yeah, I'm hopeful that they're given enough time and budget to get their stride and hit it and create a fan base. Because let's be honest, like, at the end of the day, it is not going to be the book fans that are going to keep this thing alive. It's going to be an international fan base of people that have never heard of the Wheel of Time, and hopefully they're going to fall in love with these characters across the world, right? And you can look at just the way Robert Jordan put these books together. That makes it. It should be that way, and I love that they are casting that way, because that's exactly what this book is, in the series of books. So, and to my previous point about metaphysics, most people don't know the metaphysics that well. And there's pieces of the metaphysics that I have ignored and don't know that well. And so it's, like I said, it's really hard for them not to break something. But in the end of the day, as long as they don't break some of the big things, I think it's going to be fine. So,
well, we'll kind of end things here. Any final thoughts from either of the two of you?
I'll just thank you for having me on. This has been a blast. I've always wanted to just gab about the show. So thanks for giving me a
That's what I love doing, man. Real quick for both of you, what's coming out on your platforms here soon? What can we look for? Anything, everything, talk about yourself.
Well, this Wednesday, we're back at the Dusty Wheel. We're talking, I don't know, is this a spoiler-free show, or is it just full spoilers?
Oh, yes, full spoilers.
How did Rand light that pipe? We're going to try to cover as many fan theories as we can across that hour and a half, and we're going to talk about the merits of those. Radiopedia is going to be there, and my good friend Drew from Inking Out Loud, both very smart Wheel of Time fans. And we look forward to hearing and everyone's going to vote what they think is the best explanation of who lit the pipe. And then we're doing a deep dive Sunday all about Varen. And we're just going to talk with the gentleman from Fantasy of the Ages podcast, and we're just going to dive into the character of who Varen was and is to us. So it'll be fun. Come join us.
Very cool.
My second favorite character in the series. I love it.
I was just listening to a podcast today. I don't even remember which one it was. I think it was the Wheel of Time Spoilers podcast. And they were talking about the first time when Egwene is told about Teleron Riyadh by the Wise Ones. And they say, if you go in fully, you can lose your humanity. So there's a theory for Rand. He went in fully, lost his humanity, and he is no longer human. That's why he lit the pipe. There's one for free. No. I just updated on my Discord channel the next 10 Watt 101 videos that I have planned. I just got a new machine. As a matter of fact, the computer that I'm streaming on, this is the second time I've used it.
Nice.
And it's been running smoothly, so I'm really excited to kind of ramp up on that. So that's what I'm doing. the other deep dives and stuff, like the Battle of Falm video, Nae'Blis, that's all up to you. So it'll be done when it's done.
Yep. Sure will. It is mostly done. We're about ready to go.
Yeah, but thanks, Nae'Blis.
So,
thank you very much for having us.
Thank you guys for being here. I appreciate it. It's been a great talk.
Give me an excuse to put the wig on.
Yeah, thank you. I think we'll go out. Why don't we throw our wigs on to say goodbye?
Are we saying goodnight with the wigs?
Yeah, say goodnight with the wigs on.
Oh man, if I can get this thing back on. Honestly, I'm just like making it so you guys have to wear your wigs longer than I do.
I just want to see you in a pink wig again. Again, guys, everybody, this is a Man Fear sneak peek.
Yeah.
Look at that. Just look at that.
Beautiful.
Beautiful.
Yeah. Trying to find
guys,
the right
thank you all for watching.
I feel like Snape, but in like the first age Snape with like
pink hair
from the 80s or something. Yeah, Snape in the 80s. Yeah.
All right. Well, you know what? We'll steal the Dusty Wheel thing. We're gonna smash to black.
Sweet.
Green.
Bye. Bye, everybody.
Good night.